Welcome back to another video. Today's a special day for me. It's my birthday. In today's video, I want to focus all about my favorite cartridge and what I believe to be the best do-it-all hunting cartridge for North American game. Let's just get this out of the way. There are so many good do-it-all cartridges. You could say the 30-06. There's a few 270 cartridges that would be really good. Obviously, a lot of 7mm. I know they're in right now. Tons of 30 calibers and a lot of 338s. But when it comes down to it, I will and always will be a 30 caliber guy. Here it is, the big reveal, my favorite cartridge and what I believe to be is the best do-it-all big game cartridge for North America, the 300 Weatherby Magnum. I know, real shocking, right? Me picking a 300 Weatherby, right? Well, we're going to go into why I really truly believe this is one of the best do-it-all hunting cartridges, why I pick it over any 7mm or even a 338 cartridge. The question you might ask is, why would I pick a 300 Weatherby over a 338 cartridge? You know, I've owned a 340 Weatherby for almost a year now. I certainly really like it. I love the rifle I have. But the reason I pick a 300 Weatherby over a 340 Weatherby, 338's a lot, especially in a lighter hunting rifle. It's a lot to manage. You know, the 340 Weatherby is an absolute powerhouse. Shot a 225 grain, well over 3,100 feet per second. The ballistics are just insane, and you could make a very strong case for any 338 Magnum to be the best do-it-all hunting cartridge in North America. But I think it just comes down to is it's a lot. I'll be honest, I'm a lot more accurate and confident in my 300 Weatherby than my 340 Weatherby. The latest craze has been 7mm. Everyone's making new 7mm Magnums. They're a very well balanced caliber. You know, you get a little bit less recoil than 30 caliber and a whole lot higher BC bullets in the same weight. For example, this is a 7 Brem mag. It's the king of 7mm. And what we have loaded in this 7 mag is a 175 grain. And in this 300 Weatherby I have loaded is a 175 grain as well. And I've always had a nickname for the 7 mag. I call it the baby Magnum. I think with the right powders, the 26-inch barrel, you can load a 175 grain like this one over 3,000 feet per second, which is extremely good, right? That's what everyone wants, is a 175 or 180 grain at 3,000. Well, I've got this 175 grain LRX going 3,350 feet per second, and it's extremely accurate. So yeah, you could probably see why I call the 7 mag the baby Magnum. Now, I'm not stupid. I know the BC difference between a 175 grain ELDX and like a 175 grain Barnes LRX is massively different. But I'm not a long range hunter, and out to 500 yards, my 300 Weatherby absolutely smokes the 7 Rem mag. Now I want to talk about some things that hold people back from getting a 300 Weatherby Magnum. Obviously, number one is cost, but the other problem is, you know, all the craze right now is to get a super light hunting rifle. And if you don't have a brake on this or a suppressor, 300 Weatherby, a lot of people describe it as a kicking mule. Yeah, if you get it in the wrong gun or a light gun without a brake or a suppressor, it's pretty rough to shoot. Now, this is my gun that I want to show off. Honestly, it's a very budget-friendly rifle. This is just a Weatherby Vanguard synthetic. I got it on a pretty darn good deal. It was $489. I guess best describes it is it's kind of plain Jane, but it's been a really good rifle. You know, this stock is about as plain as you get. It's not pretty by any means, but I do think it is a decent quality stock. You know, it's not a Tika or a Savage stock. You know, if you know anything about Vanguards, Howa makes them, and then Weatherby spices it up when they get it. But so this 300 Weatherby has a 26-inch barrel. If you're going to get a 300 Weatherby, don't get it in a 24-inch barrel. You're just neutering its performance. This one is a little special because it's a heavier contour barrel and it is threaded. So for a while I had a muzzle brake on it. Now I have a suppressor. It's been fun, although that suppressor makes this gun extremely long, but I don't really care. This gun does come in at a little bit heavier than I think what most people would expect from a hunting rifle, and I really like the weight of it. This comes in at 10.5 pounds with the scope on it. Again, for a lot of people, that's a way too heavy, right? But, you know, I've hiked all over the place with this, and I have found it's not that bad at all. And so it makes shooting it much more manageable. I've shot lightweight 30-06s that kick worse than this when this doesn't have a brake or suppressor on it. So I think it's a very manageable cartridge in the right gun. Now, one of my biggest pet peeves, and probably one of my missions for my YouTube channel, you always hear like, oh yeah, the Weatherbys are super fast and that's cool and all, but they're not accurate at all. Good luck getting good accuracy out of a Weatherby. Well, I've gotten pretty darn good accuracy. Well, let's just get this out of the way. No one is using a Weatherby cartridge for F-class. I understand that, right? There's a lot of reasons. Some of the few of them are they're too overbore, barrel life sucks, all the free bore, you know, you're not going to get high precision accuracy. But honestly, I don't need that in a hunting rifle. You got to realize I'm getting these types of groups with a $500 rifle. I do definitely think Weatherby rifles, Weatherby cartridges can be pretty darn accurate. Here is a 1/4 MOA group that I got with the AccuBond. And I've gotten a lot of other small groups that, well, I didn't keep the target for whatever reason. I don't think it suffers from bad accuracy. All right, let's show you my awesome ballistics in this hand load that I've created with the 200 grain terminal scent. I am using H1000, and the muzzle velocity is around 3,013 feet per second. Your energy, whoo-wee, 4,304 foot-pounds. Insane. Out to 300 yards, the bullets go on 2,776 feet per second. You have 3,423 foot-pounds at 300 yards. Ooh, one thing I forgot to show or tell you is I'm doing these ballistics at 9,000 feet, which is probably about the average elevation that I hunt elk in. At 600 yards, bullets go on 2,463 feet per second. Plenty fast enough to expand. And you have 2,695 foot-pounds, so almost 2,700 foot-pounds of energy. Guys, that's quite a bit more than any 6.5 Creedmoor has at the muzzle. That's a lot. And then this one's going to be in MOA in drop, 9.11 at 600 yards, and in 10 mile per hour wind, 2.03 wind adjustment. Pretty awesome ballistics for this. Now, one cartridge that the 300 Weatherby competes with is a 300 PRC. It's a good one, really good. You could make a very strong argument that in the same high quality type of a rifle, your accuracy potential in a 300 PRC is a bit higher than a 300 Weatherby. And I'm fine with that. You know, I've showed you the 300 Weatherby can be very accurate for hunting. So it is what it is. So what I'm going to do is show you, well, the performance we're getting in a Fierce rifle with a 24-inch barrel, and everyone's going to scream at me like, this isn't a fair comparison. You're shooting a 26-inch 300 Weatherby. Well, guys, it's my birthday, so you can deal with it. Let's see. Box says 2860. We averaged about 2,800 after shooting about 12 of these. And with a suppressor, it shot fairly well, around half MOA. But at 2,800 feet per second, this high BC 300 PRC, is it going to beat the 300 Weatherby? Well, let's find out. All right, so we have 3,691 foot-pounds of energy. Wow, that's quite the difference between 300 Weatherby, but energy is not the end-all be-all, I know. 300 yards, the bolt's going 2511, 2,968 foot-pounds. So there's about 450 foot-pound difference at 300. 600 yards, the bullet's going 2239 feet per second. And then you have 2,361 foot-pounds. So over 300 more foot-pounds of energy. And the bullet's going all over 200 feet per second faster for those that really care about the velocity of the bullet over the energy. 300 Weatherby still has a beat at 600 yards. In closing, the 300 Weatherby is just awesome. The cartridge is extremely versatile. You just have so much potential in a 300 Weatherby Magnum.